welcome everybody to the Foodie Fantasy Show. Today is going to be a packed edition. We have the talkative from Spurs, Stephen. Just
when
saying,
you're winning,
talking
winning
crap.
is clean.
Okay. Thanks for joining us. We have the other Stephen from the other part of North London joining us also. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
New guest to the show. Okay, United fan. Also a big. I have to make it clear. He wanted me to make this clear. He's a big Ole stan. Also.
I'm not.
Did you say I'm not? Okay. Is that true?
No, I'm not. I'm a United fan, but look, Ayo just too anti-social.
Oh, that's what everybody says because I'm objective. All right. Before we jump into the show, let me let you guys know what you can find us. You can find us on Facebook, Extraordinary Footy Fans, Instagram, it's Fantasy Footy. On Twitter, you can come at me. I'm always there trolling, taking bodies on Twitter. It's Footy80. Taking shots. I'm on Twitter at Footy80 Fantasy. This video will be on YouTube at Footy Fantasy. All our addresses will be at the end of the pod. Check all of us out. Today we'll be doing how the season has started so far for each of the team. Each represents Spurs. The first team represents Spurs. The other team represents Arsenal. And Okey, we did the first one last week for Chelsea and Liverpool. Today we'll be reviewing the season so far, how it started for Spurs, Manchester United, and Arsenal. I think it's only right to go how the table looks now for the review. I think we can do that. So we'll start with the noisemaker for the team that applies pressure. That's all they do. They apply pressure. Nothing ever happens. They just apply pressure on the bottom. Well, that's where it usually ends. So the applying pressure specialist, Stephen. Okay. Tell us how you're applying pressure.
All these comments I understand because I know those 6 goals made a lot of noise, bro.
No. It's okay. It's okay.
When you're banging in 6 goals, yeah, we make a lot of noise. That's what we do. Thank you. Top of the league for 20 minutes. It's all good.
Okay. I'm happy you do it for 20 minutes.
Yeah. So I think it's funny though, just as a Spurs fan, I think it's funny that we're having this kind of rebuilding season and bringing our generational talent back, Gareth Bale, after 7 years, in the season that there are no fans at the stadium. It's just crazy. Beating some teams 6-1, having training sessions during the game, but there are no fans to see it. That's the part that I really feel bad about. I wish I was there, especially when Bale scored. It would have been awesome, so. Okay. But anyway, so you want me to go in immediately to the highs and lows?
Yes, of Spurs so far.
All right.
Going forward, what you suggest?
Cool. So first thing, long live King Jose. First thing, all the Jose haters, sorry, man. This is not the time. I feel bad for y'all. All the Poch lovers, like I saw him twerking for y'all's job. Can you go ahead and put Solskjaer out of his misery and get Poch? I really want to see it. Poch in the same league as Spurs. It'll be more exciting. But
okay.
Anyway, for the highs of our season, of course, the season just started. So saying highs, that's just out of the 8 games, right? 8 games.
Yeah. Plus, I guess your Europa. That cup that nobody cares about, that happens on Thursday.
I know, and we're doing beautiful things there, man. We beat Maccabi Haifa, I think 7-1. Right.
I lost to somebody. Did you lose to somebody too? I'm just checking. Some guy, some team like that.
Yeah, but I can't pronounce their name, so it doesn't count. I don't know who it is. Yeah, okay. I can't remember. Yep.
So it's quite sad how Spurs fans have ditched Poch, and he's probably your best manager of the last 30 years. Well, you guys have just thrown him away when he got no help, no investment. He did it on a budget while building a new stadium, and you guys just jumping for Jose.
Oh, I understand what's happening right now. You know what? You're an Arsenal fan.
No, he's not. He's a United fan.
Oh, he's a United fan.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, though, I didn't diss Poch. I said he's twerking for the United job, and I want to see him back in the league. I didn't say anything bad about him. But that whole thing about not having money, actually, when you look at the facts and the numbers, it is actually not true. Poch spent a lot of money. We spent a lot of money during his time. We got Lucas, Sissoko, Sanchez. There was a lot of money spent. We spent about 50 million buying Ndombele.
Net spent.
Lo Celso.
And whose signings were there? Because Levy seems like he's the one that makes the signings.
Okay, hold up though. Now you're saying that we spent money, but it was Levy. See how you're shifting already. Just give him his due, but don't say that he didn't have money to spend. It's actually not true. But Poch is a good manager. I want to see him in the league. That's all I'll say. I wish he could be in the league. Okay. I don't know why Ayo is wasting time. You know, get him in.
I wish I could. You know, if I had the power, I'd have pulled the trigger October 2019. I would have pulled the trigger on social. Trust me, if I had the power. But I don't have the power, so go ahead.
But wait,
let's not deviate into that. We're coming there. We're coming. Finish your thoughts.
It's all good.
All right.
So let me go on. For the high of the season, I would say that as a big moment for Spurs, the West Brom win, where we really had a rough game. We had to soldier through the game. A lot of players were actually having bad games, but we showed the mental character to take it down to the wire and then score in the last 6 minutes, I think. And Harry Kane scored one of the most difficult headers I've ever seen a striker score, because the defender's leaning on his shoulder and he still got off. You watch the replay, he got off the ground as if there was no defender on him and got high before the goalie could come in. It was a great goal. Another thing great about the goal is that Matt Doherty hasn't been having a good time since he came in from Wolves, and he got to put a nice ball in, good assist. You know, the goal, it was just great. And it took us to the top of the league after a long time. I think it was 6 years. So, of course, we didn't stay there, but as a sign of what we want to do, again, the big thing for Spurs this season is matching the team's ambition with the fans' ambition, which we haven't been able to do for a long time with the managers we had previously. So now, you know, you see, of course, nobody wants to say it. Everybody's being pensive. You know, you never want to come out and say, oh, we want to win the league. But I was saying in the beginning that if you're in a league, if you register to play in a league as a club, you should have a goal to win the league. You know, so I feel that should be everybody's mindset. Some clubs don't have the financial power to do it, but you should be planning to get up there, you know. So anyway, that's a longer point, but I really loved that moment. And every Spurs fan, we were watching it together on the stream, and it was just a great moment, especially the way how the game went. And we thought we were going to, you know, be held back by West Brom, and just to come out in the end, it was almost like a cup win. It was crazy, guys. So
low points. What was your low point? What's been your low point so far?
We really don't have low points this season.
Look at this guy.
It's a happy club. It's happy at the club, baby.
Look at this front runner. So he doesn't have any low points.
Happy at the club. I can't lie, man. Even if we feel like, I think we have one loss in the league. It's just like, okay, we're still moving on. Our momentum is forward. Everything is positive about the club. So low point would be the West Ham loss. I call it a loss because we're leading 3-0. I think we had a goal from Son and 2 from Kane, who are front runners for everything we do on the attacking side. Just great guys, doing great, good form. And then we come in last 10 minutes. For some reason, King Jose brings on Harry Winkinho. And this boy in our midfield is like a Colossus that forgot his superpowers at home. He just conceded 3 goals for man. I don't want to get started on Harry Winks in this because I've actually decided that he's our boy. I'm not going to slate him anymore. And part of the reason that he's not pushing on is that Poch missed a step in his development by not sending him out on loan. If you look at most stars of the league, in their beginning years, they go out on a loan just to be able to cope mentally with being reliable. Yeah, being reliable and being relied on for a team, to give good performances.
I don't know if I agree with that, but go ahead. There are so many cases.
Yeah, I would say that was a low, man. The way it came in, it was a corner, and it fell to Winks on the edge of the box. All he had to do is clear the ball. But instead, he tries to bring it down and touch it past Obona. Obona for West Ham? Have you seen that guy? That guy fights with Mitrovic for breakfast. Like, this thing, I don't know what Winks was doing. It was so funny because Obona actually set a screen on Winks. He just bodied him and let Lanzini hit that. And if you watch that screen, the real reason Winks hasn't come back is Winks still hasn't recovered from that screen.
Okay, so who's your player of the season for Spurs so far? Who has had the best? Which player had the best start for Spurs? So which does become
all right. Player of the season, best start of the 8 games is definitely Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. 25 years old, but he plays like a 55-year-old in a testimonial game. That boy, he's so mature. He's such a leader. You know, everybody's talking about him at the club. He's exactly what we needed: a good, solid defensive midfield player, but not a defensive midfield player where all he contributes is off the ball. He's also nice on the ball, the passing, the control, good decision making. I'm sure you can see that pass, that one-touch pass into Aurier for the 6th goal against you guys. That was him, you know. So he's really a great defensive midfield player, and because he's come in, where Jose is able to do something that is so interesting. When he had Pogba, if you remember, I wrote an article about how y'all needed to just play Pogba with 2 strong defensive midfield players, or at least a defensive midfield player and a holding midfield player. And that allows Pogba to go up and not have so much responsibility coming back as he played in Juventus. So it's so positive for me to see that it seems Mourinho has learned from that, and that's how he's using Ndombele now. So bringing in Højbjerg, we can play Højbjerg as a pivot, but play Sissoko in there too, and that allows Ndombele play. And I'm sure Pogba is looking at Ndombele's spot like, that's the kind of team I would have loved to play in. So Højbjerg, bringing in Højbjerg lets us do that. I think he's a player of the season so far, and it's a masterstroke from Jose to bring him in. So I love that. I love it.
To be fair, I did throw, I have a post on our group where I threw that signing, calling that everybody's signing from like, what was my thing? From Harrods, like big high-end stores, and Jose is standing from dollar store. So I'm like, damn, this thing worked out. I'm surprised nobody has called me out on it now. Because I was strolling the signing like, yeah, what's he going to do? Okay, let's jump.
Hey, why you dissing Southampton like that, man? Why you calling Southampton dollar store? Dollar store has some deals though. Southampton, I don't know what they do. They have
their manager. Yeah, their recruitment is really good. Okay, let's jump to the other side of North London. Mr. Stephen, give us
the great side of North London.
Okay, the great side of North London. Okay, let's go.
The North London that actually doesn't put pressure, but has a history of winning some other than 100 years ago. But all good. No, I think for us it's been an up and down season. You can't deny that. I think, but again, like we've had the conversation, it's transition, right? We have a lot of players that we have to change. We have a young manager. He hasn't been a manager at all anywhere before, so he's learning on the job. He's going to make mistakes. But I think, the high point for us was definitely the win at United, and more for the performance than the actual just winning at United. Like we've beaten City, we've beaten Liverpool in the cups, we've done those things. It's on a one-off occasion, Arsenal can beat teams, but in the league, in terms of playing against the recognized top 6, and having a performance where you can control the game and actually come out of the game saying, no, we weren't lucky, we actually deserved to win and could have won by more. So that United game, I would say, would be the high point so far this season. If you're talking about just performances, etc. That's kind of where I would say we are right now.
Okay. So what has been the low point so far?
The low point is Villa. The low point is Villa because it's the complete opposite of the United game, and it's a week after the United game, right? So it's you go from the performance against United and seeing a future in terms of how we want to play and how we could potentially be playing. And then you play Villa and it's the old things like Bellerin getting spun around, playing balls over behind him, people not tracking runners. It's just all of the things that you come to kind of know with the bad Arsenal of the last few years in that one game. So I think the Villa game is definitely the low point, and more again because of the performance and just the fact that the players didn't show up. Then losing to Villa, no big deal. People will lose to Villa, right? Liverpool lost them really badly as well. But it's more the performance than anything else. Like even in the Liverpool game, you said Liverpool lost the game badly, but the performance, you say, okay, they played, but Villa was just really good on the day in terms of what they were doing to Liverpool with the Arsenal game. We could have lost 6 or 7 as well. So, and we didn't play well. So I just think that's kind of the low point for me.
Stephen, quick question. So do you feel it was the performance of the players, or you think Arteta got the tactics really bad?
I think it was a little bit of both. I think the performance of the players wasn't good enough on the day, right? There's certain things that the players could control and should have done better, right? Like, so for example, the first goal after 40 something seconds where you can see Grealish stepping over the ball and holding a Bellerin and literally in front of him, he's outside of the box. Someone just put a challenge in. That's got nothing to do with tactics. That's just aggression and being understanding the game and knowing your job.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that was more the issue. Arteta, after the first maybe 15 minutes of that game, though, he could have reacted. He could have changed the shape. He could have basically said, hey, we're getting done out wide because of the wing-back system. I'm going to go maybe put more bodies in midfield. And again, I think he probably left it too long in terms of trusting that the players would kind of figure it out. And like I said to you guys before, I don't see that we don't have the players that you could do that with consistently. Right? They need to be coached. They need to be guided because we don't have players in every position that are good enough to kind of figure those types of things out. So I think it's a combination of both, but I definitely put more blame on the players on that one.
Okay. So going forward, what do you think? What do you think is the way forward going forward for Arsenal?
So going forward, Arteta just has to trust that he's instilled the discipline that he wants and the style and the shape that he wants, and he has to go away from the back three. I think we got too many. We don't have enough. We have 2 defenders at the club, right? If you were to be truly honest, you probably got Tini and Gabriel. Like they're the only ones that you can reliably say most weekends or most weeks they're gonna give you a 6 or a 7 out of 10. So trying to put bodies back there and defend and not be true to what Arsenal is doesn't make sense now. And I think he can trust that he's basically instilled some discipline. He's instilled a pattern of play, a shape. Let the guys go and play. We're going to lose games. Like, I don't expect us to go this season and win and beat everyone and rough run our way over the league in a year and a half of the man being in charge.
Yeah, I don't expect that too. Yeah.
No, but with the players that at least we've done it in my lifetime. But I think the thing is just you have to at some point look at what you have and say, okay, let's be more positive than negative in terms of how we go about playing and winning. And again, against the bigger sides, you have a system with the back three that more times than not has gotten you reasonable results. So you can always go back and lean on it. But when you're playing against these teams that are going to sit back, that are going to try and counterattack against you, let's go fire for fire and see what happens. And again, I spoke to you, I say, Oba through the middle. I don't want to see Lacazette playing as a centre forward for us in a starting team. Pepe on the right. I would use Willian as a 10 and I would play Saka on the left. And those guys would rotate behind Aubameyang and create more than enough problems or chances for people because they're all really good runners with the ball, which is something that we don't have deeper in midfield. And then you just use the spine. So you play Bellerin, you play Tierney, you play Gabriel, you play Partey, and then you rotate around those guys behind that front four. And I think it's weird because you have 3 players next to Partey that if you were to combine them, you'd have a really great player. But individually, they all do something specifically, right? So you say, okay, you want to go box to box, you use Ceballos. If you want to go and sit, you use El Neni. If you want passing range, you use Xhaka. But you just play one of those, depending on who you're playing, next to the one that you have, which is Partey, and hope to God that he doesn't get hurt, which he obviously did before the international break. So I just think that's what he has to do between now and the end of the season, and we'll be fine. Like, we're going to lose games. It's going to be up and down, but we got a team with a lot of players that needs to be transitioned still. And it's work in progress. So I'm not expecting to win every game. I'm expecting good results and bad results, and I don't expect that to change. But the difference between Arteta's Arsenal and Unai Emery's Arsenal is, at least in some of these games, you see an element of control, you see an element of pattern of play, you see development of individuals. So people like Saka, people like even an El Neni, Arteta can get a tune out of certain people while he has them. And again, that's a positive thing. Whereas with Unai Emery, if it wasn't the player that you expected, you didn't get a result.
Okay, that's very interesting. I have two things to say in summary. The first thing I was going to say, I agree with like your formation, switching to that. The only thing I'll switch around is, if I was Arteta, I mean, just from outside looking in, I would play Pepe as a 10 and play Willian on the wing. Because one thing I've seen about Arsenal with the back three, and thing that I'm noticing is a lot of your creative players, like the back three, the 3-4-3 thing has been making a lot of your creative players and your dangerous players on the outside, and most of the workhorses have been on the inside. And that should be the other way around, because they can cause more damage.
But that's why I like that three behind Aubameyang with a license and a platform to be able to move around.
Correct.
The thing with Pepe can pop up on the left and put a cross in with his left foot, or he could be on the right and he can shoot. Saka can do the same thing, because Saka can go on the left side and come inside on his left foot and shoot as well. So I think playing those three and allowing them to rotate, and again, Aubameyang's had experience of going out on the left and cutting in and doing, so they could all move around and transition and play. And again, if you're chasing a game and you want to go a little bit more aggressive, I've even said to someone, you can take Willian out and put Lacazette on as a 10 or a 9.5 and let him play behind or with Aubameyang, with those players. So I just think sometimes it's not about, everybody talks about creativity and you should bring back Ozil. I don't want to see Ozil. Ozil's not going to be the future of the team. He's out of contract in 6 months. Forget Ozil.
Yeah, it's gone.
Use the players we have and give them a chance to actually do their thing. And I think you're going to lose games, but you're going to see development. Like, you got to find out at some point if Pepe was worth the money or not. And if he's not worth the money, you take your 30 million of whatever you can get for him and you move on. But if he's not playing, all you're doing is devaluing the player, killing his confidence. You're not going to learn anything anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? And Lacazette, people forget, end of the season, he's got a year left on his contract too. And we're not going to pay him because he's already on 180 grand a week. He's not going to get more than that. So Lacazette probably needs to be sold.
Do you want to keep him though?
I would have sold him. And the reason I would have sold him is not because he's a bad player. It's because it's an asset that we know at the end of the season is going to have a year left. And we're not going to pay him. Like, there's no way, unless Lacazette comes in and says, I'll keep my current contract, which no player is going to do. Like, you're going to have to give him a signing on bonus. You're going to have to give him a loyalty bonus. Like, there's no point keeping Lacazette. So I would have sold him. And then I would have gone into the market and said, okay, Oba's going to play through the middle. He's 32. You've got Martinelli coming through, who can play as a centre forward, who's exciting. You've got Nketiah, whether you love him or not, who can do this, run around and work hard and do something off the bench for the short term.
Oh, the Harry Redknapp plan.
No, short term, but you know you need a forward in the future. Because again, you don't know. Martinelli might come back and turn into flipping Ronaldo. Like, you don't know. Like, he's 19. Like, no, but what I'm saying, you don't know. So what you do?
Fair enough.
Behind Aubameyang than Lacazette.
He could turn to something big. I just have one thing to say on your team, that I think Pepe in the Premier League is a waste of a wing spot right now. He's a limited player, man. His movement off the ball, I notice about him, man. That boy, he waits. Even Martial is better off the ball. Like, he waits to get the ball to feet, then he can play. And yet you're playing three up top and hoping to use the spaces in behind. He just cannot do that. So
but that's what I'm saying.
Why play him on the wing even?
No, but what I'm saying, the reason I would play him, I would start him from that position, and let him roam around, which makes it so to the point of he doesn't make the right runs, right? But if he's popping up in different areas, you put him as a 10, he's going to be just the same person to mark. And you let him pop up behind the striker or pop up on the left side, and other players, because Willian is the complete opposite. He's a very intelligent player. Saka is a very intelligent player. So you let those three guys move around behind Aubameyang. They're all relative. One thing they're all good at is they're all very good at dribbling, running with the ball. Right? So they can carry it, transition, and then you basically create a little bit more unpredictability than having these people that you put Saka on the left. You know what he's going to do. He's going to get to the byline. He's going to come inside. He's going to, you know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why people kind of defend well against us right now.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's a good player. I like Pepe. It's sad to see him wasted at Arsenal.
Yeah, so it's sad. Look at useless. The last thing I wanted to say, coaching wise, Arteta is giving me, and Okey can attest to this in a way. Arteta is giving me LVG vibes. I say this not in a good way, in the sense that you can see that he's coaching like the pattern of play to like the very minute level, which when it works, and it is not going to work every time, just like on the LVG, it will look like perfection, like when you guys beat us, the match control, when we went to similar in LVG's, flipping it to LVG's time, when we went to Anfield and dominated Liverpool, you know, the one that Mata scored 2 goals. Like similar type, we control the game from beginning to the end. The problem with that is, and all the players said it is, in the final third, number 1, and number 2, when it gets to second, and the players get tired, they start forgetting, like, what should I do at each particular point, you know? And he's coaching it to like the very minute play. He needs to find the balance of when to release that handbrake. Because if he doesn't, it could be a problem. That's what I see.
But the difference is, let me give you a counter to that.
Yeah.
It comes down to the players that you have and you use. So if you look at Arteta, why is it that he's basically been trying to sign more experienced, long-term people who have got that? Because then they have that quality and that experience in terms of what he's trying to get them to do. You're trying to do that with a young player, they're going to switch on and off.
Correct.
Like, when everybody was going crazy about why is he signing Willian? He's signing Willian because Willian's an experienced player. You tell him what to do, and he knows how to play football. Yeah. He's been in winning teams. He knows what you're asking him to do.
Correct.
The same thing with Partey, who's 27. The same thing, like Gabriel was 22, but he's playing next to David Luiz. Right? So he's that's why he's over relying, in my opinion, on some of these experienced players because of that pattern and that coaching.
Yeah.
So, okay, you do that in the short term, you develop a Saka, a whoever else, because the younger players, LVG, say what you like, he was great with young players, Ajax, anywhere.
He is always been.
Arteta's going to be the same in that sense, and then he's going to buy around it. That's all they're going to need. So you need time to do that. And I gave you guys...
And I agree. And that's what I was going to. You need time.
I gave you a Liverpool example. When Klopp came and he was playing that Gengen press, and everybody was like, what is he doing? The players can't play like this for a whole season. They're going to be tired. They're going to get burnt out. Those are all of the excuses, right? The 4-4 with West Brom. Like, Liverpool can't play like this. And he just said, this is my system. I'm going to get the players I want, and I'm going to invest in playing this way. And when he bought some of these players, people were questioning him. Like, when he bought Mane, I was one of the people like, why the hell are they paying all that money for this guy? Like, I don't see it. Now, would you question him?
No.
So you just got to let him do what he's doing. Is it going to work in the long run? No one knows, but at least he's committed to doing something a certain way.
Yeah.
It's not, 1 week he's doing it and you can't see what the players are being asked to do versus the next. You have, as any good coach, I don't care who they are, they're going to be committed to a way of playing.
Correct.
Any good coach. And even you cuss Mourinho, you know what you're going to get over Mourinho's side. Like, if you don't work hard and you don't do the discipline thing for Mourinho, you are not playing for him.
Yeah.
Simple as.
Correct. So you're right. That's the thing I wanted to talk about, is that thing, that LVG thing. And there's something there because it's the same. He literally has the same assistant that LVG had from the time at United. When I saw that, that's when it started clicking in my head, like, this guy that I've seen in LVG, the pattern of play thing.
Like, that's how he wants to play. And you can talk about it. You guys go on like you don't see Pep Guardiola on the pitch. They win a game 3-4-0, and he's got Foden off to the side, who's the young guy coming in, and he's basically telling him, yo, your movement, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. Yeah. That's what they're going to do. And these young players, how long has Foden been waiting to get into that Manchester City side?
Yeah.
I thought he would get in when Silva left, but
no, but he again, it's evolution. He's coaching the hell out of him to get him to where he wants him to get. Otherwise, he's gonna drop him in and out. Even Saka, when Saka's not in the team, every Arsenal fan loses their heads right now. I'm like, look, the guy's 19. You don't need to be playing every week. Like we played this movie before with Wilshere and Fabregas. Like, you play a 19-year-old, 18-year-old in the Premiership. 1 week he's gonna be good. The next week he's gonna be average. Right?
Only his name is Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the only person that broke that. I'm just saying, that's the only person that broke that. He was week in, week out.
No, but again, week in, week out, playing with who?
I know. I was just joking. I know. I get that. He had experienced players. Around him. I know.
Hey,
good segue.
Dele Ali, to give him his credit, I love Dele. Yeah, and he came in the league at 19 also and stayed in.
Hey, that guy, that man Poch though. The man that destroys players.
Yeah. Poch was good.
Okay, good segue. I'm going to interrupt everybody so that we always do too much time. Good segue to Manchester United. And the good segue was Stephen made a great point about a man. Most good coaches commit to a philosophy, and you know every time this is what you're going to get. Yeah. I come to my friend, okay, what the philosophy of Solskjaer? Can you tell me what his philosophy is? Everybody, I hear different things from everybody. Some people say he's just a vibes coach. He's just coaching vibes. Ian Wright even said it on his podcast. He said it. I was like, wow, look at Ian Wright. He came for Solskjaer.
Here's the thing. If Ian Wright is saying that Solskjaer coached on vibes, then you could then accuse Ferguson of the same thing. Because Ferguson at times was just kind of like attacking. You know?
I don't agree, by the way, because I know some people try to call for me after this. I don't agree.
As a tactical genius, you know, but how many times, Ayo, did he turn on the TV in a big United game late, and let's say you turn it on like with 10 minutes had gone, and United were already like 2-0 up. You understand the amount of times Ferguson just knew how to get the players fired up. So tactics all out the window, because essentially, when you have the ball, are there really any tactics when you have the ball? If you have players like Rooney, Ronaldo, Giggs, Scholes, you're not going to be like LVG and tell them you have to run here, you have to do this, you have to do that. No, you let them be free.
But that's not. But let me interrupt you a little bit, okay? That's not something you can replicate, though, right?
I don't agree.
Ferguson was a psychologist, right? He's the best sports psychologist ever. That's not something you can replicate. That's one thing. That's the mistake I think a lot of people are making. You cannot say I want to be a great psychologist like Ferguson. You know, it's not. You can't replicate that.
Well, but that's the thing. A lot of people have said you can't replicate Paisley or Shankly or Clough, because those guys were probably in the same mode of being more into the players' minds than tactics.
Correct.
But Ferguson came along, so there's nothing that says that Solskjaer.
Okay.
There's nothing that says that. I'm just saying.
Other than the players themselves.
I'm just saying. Solskjaer's philosophy, from what I can see, used to be counter-attacking football, which is how United have always played.
No, I disagree. But go ahead.
United have always been a counter-attacking team. Ferguson's best team. You think in the big games, United have been a counter-attacking team. If you look, when we played Arsenal, when we played Liverpool,
all the time,
our counter-attacking goals.
Correct. That's fair. That's now you rephrased it. Yeah.
All the time. John O'Shea in midfield. Like, come on, man.
So anyway, John O'Shea, but that's the thing. But he was doing a job.
No, but that's my point. I wasn't saying in disparaging. I'm saying that we played against a Man United team with Phil Neville and John O'Shea in midfield and lost.
There was a game against Arsenal where our midfield was it Raphael, O'Shea, Gibson, and Fabio in the FA Cup, and we beat you guys 2-1 or 4-1. Can't remember which scoreline it was at Old Trafford.
So we could play on the counter attack. Doesn't mean we're not a counter attacking team by design. We could play on the counter attack. That's two different things.
I do think that the United default though, if United were playing against a lower league, a lower ranked team, then of course United will go on the front foot. But if that team was pressing us, then of course we'll then switch to counter-attacking game and just counter. That's just how the game goes. You can't always be on the front foot all the time. You have to be ready to counter-attack. So anyway, to me,
the high points. Let's go to the high points of the season.
Yeah, so the high point of the season, I can't distinguish between the two. Either the PSG win in Paris or the Leipzig win at Old Trafford. I'll probably say the PSG win because that was away from home. Although PSG were lacking a few players, they still had Neymar and Mbappe, and Herrera was there, and I can't remember if Verratti was playing, but they had a lot of their good players there, and United and Di Maria was playing, and I thought that Tuanzebe's performance was really good. I want him to be starting next to Maguire, and the low point, the Spurs the defeat was the low point. I do feel that Martial getting sent off played a big role in that defeat. But no excuses. A United team shouldn't be beaten 6-1. And you know, it was nothing like City beating United 6-1 because in that game again, Ferguson just didn't want to shut up shop and just say, okay, let's lose 3-1. United kept going for it. So yeah, that to me that's the high and low points. I think the team has learned from the Spurs result, and I think Solskjaer has probably learned too from that Spurs result. And I think Solskjaer is learning who he can trust and who he can't trust, and maybe that's one of the reasons why we're seeing Pogba on the bench a bit more. Although I don't think Pogba should be on the bench. Pogba should have that number 10 position, and Fernandes should be, until we get another wide player, a Sancho or someone like that, Fernandes should be up front with Martial, Rashford, or Cavani, whoever's up front. And I think Pogba as a number 10, with no defensive responsibilities, on top form, he's world class. You know, people say it's Pogba world class. In a number 6, he's not world class. In a number 8/10, with no defensive responsibilities, he's world class.
So, okay, question though.
Yeah.
So having already set up the team as it is with Bruno in that 10 position and playing great, playing with, I would say probably possibly outside of Kane and Son, he's in the best form of a player in the league. Would you then switch that, having already got that system where he's working that well?
I mean, the system's not really working. It's been one good game, really, the Everton game. The game before that, United lost, right?
No, it's not working for the team, I know, but Bruno, switching Bruno out of that position.
I would say it won't really impact him. If you see where did his goals come from against Everton, the first one, fair enough, was a header from the middle. Well, he can do that he can do that coming from the right. The second one was the cross that Rashford missed, and he was wide left. So he can drift. And if he's after the game began after lockdown, and Pogba came in the team, remember the Spurs game. You're a Spurs fan. Remember the Spurs game, and Pogba came on. He changed the game, and that number 10 position. You know, he and
in the 6-1.
No, after lockdown.
After lockdown, at when we drew 1-1.
Yeah.
Oh, the 1-1. Yeah. Oh, yes.
And then also before that, the season before, the away game again, one of Solskjaer's first three games as United manager, when Rashford scored the winning goal, the
long ball on the counter.
And Pogba played that pass to Rashford that no other player, apart from De Bruyne in the Premier League, could probably play that pass. So you have to put Pogba in a position where he's going to influence.
Hold up. Kane will play that pass.
No, he couldn't.
All day. And I have to say that because as a striker, he'll play that pass. I put that on.
That pass that Pogba played to Rashford?
Yes.
No, he couldn't.
Yes. He has already. Go watch Kane's pass to Son against Southampton, first one. Just watch it.
Okay. I want to keep everybody back on track. Let's take you on track. So
don't be my player.
Go and sit down somewhere. So going forward, what do you think is the formation tactics to use, or maybe formation?
Going forward, I think this is my criticism of Solskjaer. I think Solskjaer has to be more. Solskjaer, when he gets a winning team, he sticks to it, and I can understand why, because he's still in that phase where he needs wins, right? But Solskjaer needs to not be afraid of rotating, even a winning side. They'll, because again, I don't want to sound like those United fans who keep going on about Ferguson. But if you think that sometimes United will be on a 4-game winning streak, but in those 4 games, Ferguson will change the team. I think there wasn't there like a few years where Ferguson went without naming the same 11. And in that time, United must have won titles and things like that, but he never played the same 11. So I would say Solskjaer should go with the Herring goal, AWB at right back, Tuanzebe and Maguire. I think we need pace, and Tuanzebe is physical enough. And he's not a young guy anymore. He's 22, 23 now.
23.
Yeah, he just turned 23, right? And then Maguire, and then Shaw at left back. Then two of Fred, McTominay and Matic with Pogba in front of them. And then again, the front 3 rotate out of Fernandes, Greenwood, Martial, Cavani and Rashford. But I think Solskjaer just has to learn to keep rotating them, and then, use that as a springboard to then build the confidence of guys like Dan James, because I think he needs a lot of confidence and training as well, But bring him into a winning team.
Stephen says Telles and he just put in the chat. Telles and Van der Beek get no love for their. This is why they cost 70 million.
They didn't even get named.
It's all rotation, right? You said the name to start 11. Telles, I've not seen enough of. I'm going to be honest. A lot of them.
He's better than Shaw. Take it out for nothing.
Van der Beek, again, will come into the rotation. I think there'll be certain games where, against the big teams, you may want Van der Beek up front so he can work forward and backwards. This is the way Ferguson used to put Ronaldo centre forward and put Rooney left in big games because he trusted him to work back. Maybe Van der Beek can play that position. It's all about rotation. I don't want to say this should be the starting 11 because it's horses for courses. You pick the right horses for the course you want them to run. Solskjaer does it well in the big games. In the games where we have to break down teams, I think he needs to get that. He needs to get it. He needs to get it right. We need a midfielder. We need like a midfielder who's young enough, who's going to be not so much a destroyer, but someone who's going to keep the ball moving. Back in the day, I wanted United to sign Modric so badly because Modric at Spurs, he was a guy to replace Scholes, but United are still trying to replace Scholes now.
But I have a question. So you just said you want a player that can keep the ball moving.
Yeah.
That Van der Beek could play that position.
I don't think he can play that deep. I don't think he can play that deep. I don't think he can play that.
He did it for Ajax. I've seen him do it. Like I'm telling you right now, if you play that guy behind that front 4 you just described.
No,
right?
not the front 4. I want people to play that defensive / central midfield role and distributing.
Well, I'm saying what you're saying. So if when you're playing against teams that are going to be more defensive, with Pogba at 10, with Fernandes off the right, with Martial, with Rashford, behind that you need someone that's going to get the ball to those players in transition.
No,
it's not about having Maguire trying to dribble out and pass the ball. That ain't it. Which is what you've been trying to do. You play Van der Beek next to Fred, next to Matic, next to McTominay, any of those players. None of them are the right player for right now. United need a DM, 100%. But if you could just, for now, in those games, use those 2 players, I would say go Fred and Donny for a period of time. Or depending on who you're playing, Matic and Donny, because you have to save Matic's legs at his age. Mm-hmm. But if you could just do that and then play that front 4, then I'd be like, okay, Man United, most games, that front 4 is going to cause so much damage that it doesn't even matter if you concede the odd goal.
I think, Stephen, there's something that we don't know about why Van der Beek is not playing. Because honestly, like you, I can't see it. I can't see why he's not playing more games there.
I
don't understand. I really want to get. That's why I'm just listening to hear
I think
Man U fans' take on it.
Yeah, I think that it could be one of a couple of things.
Is it that he's in bad form, just can't play in training, or?
No, I think that it's one of two things. I think it's one of a few things. I think Van der Beek was, my personal opinion, he may not have been a social signing, right? So social is trying to send a message to Woodward to say, look, you know, I now have to fit this guy in that you signed.
But let me ask a question on that one. So if he'd got the player that it sounds like he wanted, and I'm speculating with all of you guys, it sounds like Solskjaer wanted Sancho.
Yeah.
If you had Sancho, and Sancho now was on the right or the left, whichever way you want to play it, what happens then with Pogba, Fernandes?
Again, it's rotation. It's rotation. Pogba may have left. He may have sold Pogba. He may have sold Pogba, but now because of numbers and, you know.
But he could have sold Pogba regardless of the fact he didn't get Sancho.
No,
if you don't
no, because then you're short, right? Because then you're short. Because then you have basically Greenwood, Martial, and Rashford and Cavani, and if one of them is injured, you just have you can't change anything. I think he may have sold Pogba, but what I think he may not have. I think Solskjaer actually liked Pogba because he was he not the academy manager under Pogba? And you know, I used to watch those academy games on METT TV, and Pogba was head and shoulders the best player on the pitch. And I remember the midfield three then was Pogba, Tunnicliffe, and Ravel Morrison. And you know, Ravel Morrison would have been one of the best players in the world by now, in my opinion. He was amazing. He's still amazing. He just needs to get his head in the right place, I think.
Do you guys have a homegrown player problem? Maybe that's why you can't drop Pogba, because we had some of that issue. I think Pogba would count as a homegrown player.
Yes, he's homegrown, yeah.
And so that would be a reason why they wouldn't want to move him on. I mean, I don't know. But to me, it makes no sense that you've got Van der Beek and you're not going to play him when obviously they don't feel like Pogba's doing the job.
But also Van der Beek, right? He's a player from what I've seen, and he's only played a few minutes. He's not like a Modric where he can get the ball and spray it 50 yards. You know, you know, he works in tight spaces. You give him the ball, he can play quick 1-2s. You can't do that as the last midfielder when you're new to the league. You understand? That's why I don't think he can play that position. Van der Beek, in my opinion, can play wide up front or behind the forwards, but not as, you know, a defensive midfielder or somebody who is, you know, keeping the game moving. He can't play that kind of like, you know, that holding midfielder position. No, I don't think he can do that yet. Maybe he can grow into that, but not now.
I have to jump in now. I feel like this part is going to extend too long at this point, so I'll go jump in. So, who's your player of the season for Manchester United? Well, player with the best start so far. Player with the best start so far. Okay.
That's a tough one. You know, that's a tough one. Do you know what? Earlier I said Fred. And I think that's because I think you put Fred in my mind. But I may actually go for maybe De Gea. De Gea had quite a good solid start to the season. I don't think he's made any mistakes for goals. You know, he's made a good solid start and he's made some good saves. De Gea or Fred?
So before we go from you, okay, who is the player that had the best start overall in the EPL?
The best start. Who is that? Let me. Do you know what? This guy's one. You know, I rate this guy a lot. You know, when I discuss with my Liverpool friends, they don't like it because they say I hype him up. But Harry Kane, probably. Harry Kane has been phenomenal. And the thing is that again, under a different manager at United, Harry Kane would have been a United player by now, 100%. Harry Kane was Harry Kane is a United player, just in a Spurs shirt.
All right. In the cast. That's just disrespectful. How are you gonna say United player? What? From a club that I can't even see you in the league. Where are you in the league table? I honestly try to find.
Well, here it is, yeah.
I could not find you.
I was gonna bring this up, right? But this is typical Spurs fans. They get ahead of themselves, right?
Okay. Hold up. You can't even make remarks like that about a player. Like, even managers don't do it, players don't do it. Let's not even go there.
Why?
Respect the club, respect the player. You can't call him a United player. Okay? United player.
Who is your player of the season? Oh no. You said Højbjerg for Spurs. Who is your player of the season overall?
Lingard. Don't come near Harry Kane. And he won't want none of you.
I'm going to mute your mic. I'll mute your mic.
Harry Kane's going to leave eventually. You know it. Maybe
get out of here with that, man.
Maybe end this season, Harry Kane will join United or Madrid or someone who will pay what Daniel Levy wants. But he's going to leave eventually.
This is
wants to win the Premier League.
This is wishful thinking right now.
Oh, Mr. Stephen Spurs. Who is your player of the season for the EPL?
So far, I already said it, man. I already said it.
No, you said for your team. Overall.
Oh, overall player so far in the league.
That's impressed you so far in the first 8 games.
Man, I would say for impact, just because we're already a team that was at the top. So Højbjerg has done well, but it's not like he's taken us to another stratosphere. I would say it's Watkins for Aston Villa.
Hang on a second. You were already a team at the top. Where did you finish last season? I'm confused. You really
listen.
Were you champion last season?
I know you're hurt about.
It's celebrated.
The champion in his lifetime.
It's celebrated making Europa. His manager was celebrating making Europa League.
Listen. We're already a team that's usually in the top 6. Okay, so Højbjerg, it's not like he's brought us onto another level. But Ollie Watkins for Aston Villa, what he's done for them, he's changed. They can have a different ambition now if he keeps playing the way he has. So I would say it's him. He's made the most impact to me. And watching him on the ball, it's not like he's doing it in a lucky way or in an ugly way. He's a good player, man.
Yeah,
good on the ball. I love that guy. Good play.
Okay, Stephen.
Just to point out, Southampton, who Højbjerg came from, finished 7 points below Spurs last season. So I mean, it's not that big of a jump, really, from Southampton to this.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't even know what you're talking about, bro.
That's what that is.
7 points behind Spurs.
He's at the same level. That's what he said.
They're not really that far.
Okay, Arsenal Stephen. I have to bring everybody in. Arsenal Stephen.
No, I would agree with Kane. I just think the numbers that he's putting up and the performances it's crazy. You just you expect to fall off at some point, but now he's adding assists as well, which is the other thing. But I think behind that, I would go for players in those teams that maybe are surprisingly in the top 6 or 8 right now. So I think at Villa, Grealish, look at the stats. He's got goals, he's got assists. I think he's got 9 goal contributions in 8 games or something crazy like that. And then Calvert-Lewin. Like, I did not see that guy scoring goals ever in his career. I didn't see him scoring goals, not at the level that he's doing it right now. And he's turned himself into a proper number 9 as well. You put crosses in and 90% of the time he's on the end of it, whether it's with his head or throwing himself at it. So I think those 3, but out of the 3, if I had to pick, I'd say Kane, just given the output. Like, you look at the guy's numbers and it's not even funny. Like, the goals he scored, again, they were showing a stat where he's pretty much just behind like Henry and people like that in terms of goals scored in the Premier League, and in the number of games he's done it, it's crazy.
It is. For Arsenal, who is
player of the season for Arsenal is Gabriel. I ain't even gonna. It's not even a question. Gabriel coming in from the French league, 22. Our defense up until the Villa game was the best defense in the league, and he's a big part of that. He just very physical, very aggressive, reads the game. He likes to defend, which for an Arsenal defender is something that we haven't had in a long time. And he can play. If you let him play, he'll play as well. So I think Gabriel has got a really big ceiling, and he's been really good for us so far this season.
Okay. I'll just say mine real quick. For United, it's Pastor Fred. He gets a lot of disrespect. I like to put that Pastor Fred because the guy is always handing out sermons, you know, even when we're playing bad. The games that were really bad, he didn't play those games. You know, the 6-1, he didn't play that game. I think he brought it on later. Fred has been everything. Leipzig game, the PSG game, his pressure. He's a shuttler. I always say, I tell people, you need to understand who players were, what they are, what they bring to the table, understand what you can expect. He's a shuttler. He came to United. Everybody expects him to be this deep-lying Perlo or something. Like, no, he's a shuttler. If you think of Fred, think of someone like, say, Educator. That's what Fred is. He pressures the ball and keeps it simple, keeps it short. Pressures, he goes box to box. He pressures, that's what he does. He's critical to everything Solskjaer wants to do. You know, I don't agree with it, but whatever Solskjaer wants to do, counter-attacking football, that he's critical to everything Solskjaer does. Fred is, so far, I've been impressed. Overall, it has to be Harry Kane. I mean, 8 goals. I think 8 goals, 8 assists, something like that, something crazy. Or 8 goals, 7 assists. Like, I mean, that's crazy. Harry,
you guys. All right, sorry to interrupt, but like, y'all are saying this like, you know, player of the season so far. Harry Kane always does this.
No. He didn't add the assist though.
Now he's added the assist. Added the assist though. But this level of performance, I was looking, when you said player of the season, I'm looking at somebody that has made a different impact. See, Kane always does it, but without Højbjerg, we're not even here. Like I said with Aston Villa, they have Grealish. We know he's a player, but without Watkins, they're not there.
Oh no, you're forgetting one critical thing though: the assist. Apart from the assist, Kane typically always starts slow. Remember this. I think you're forgetting that. Typically, historically, August was the month. Just people have to remember that this September is our August, right? So technically, in the traditional league season, we're in October right now. We're not in November, right? Because this is like a month later. So Kane has always traditionally been a slow starter. Like he starts picking up after the first 2 months. They start scoring like a whole bunch of goals in a short period of time. That's been his Kane's history. He scores like 7-8 goals in like 3 games. Like he scores, then he starts scoring to the end of the season. Beginning, he always slow. He starts slow. But now he has added assists. And it's not just assists like, oh, you know, there's some assists that are crazy, right? That's why some people always come at me like, oh, you hate Daniel James so much, he gives assists. I'm like, come get out of here. Assists of just passing to somebody by the side and pressing dribbles. Daniel James has like 2 or 3 assists where he gives somebody, Marshall dribbles 2, 3, 4 people and scores and call it assists. Come on, get out of here. Don't put that as assist. Tell me that, oh, Daniel James is a good player. I'm like, get out of here.
Encourage the young boy, man.
Man, it's not United quality, man. Get out of here. I don't know why we have it, but let's move on with Daniel James. Let's go back to that. Okay. The kind of assists he's giving is assists like he drops by, links up play, looks up, gives true passes. This man is giving true passes. I think he has a high amount. He's up there when it comes to true balls. Harry Kane, true balls.
He's been doing it before, but I think Jose has a big part to play with that, though. Honestly,
correct. So,
I see your point. I'm just saying that I expect that from him. But go
yes,
see it.
And I agree. But he's doing it. He's added a new element to his game. He's impacted it.
Yeah, and the point you made around Grealish is the same thing. Like last season for me, everybody knows he was the main guy at Villa, but in terms of the carrying of that team, like Watkins is Watkins, but Grealish is now he's evolved to another level where he's actually creating goals and scoring goals himself, which he wasn't doing a year ago. Like he wasn't getting the level of goal contributions that he's getting now. Yeah. And of course, having Barkley there, having Watkins there, Villa didn't have that quality of player. Yeah. So that's going to help him. But again, the impact he's having for me is bigger than a year ago.
Okay. I think I'll go wrap it up here. Before I go, the big game for next weekend. Stephen, your team is playing Man City. What's your prediction?
Man City at home, draw.
No, I'm talking. I think it's Spurs.
That's
Spurs
me.
Man City. I was asking, but it's fine. You think it's a draw? Everybody do prediction. What's your prediction? The Spurs man.
Win.
Win. What? Just give me a specific prediction. What type of win? 2-0?
Specific. Last time we did 2-0, maybe 3-1. We get them 3-1.
Where is that game? Is that White Hart Lane?
Let's see. Yeah, it's a home game.
Okay.
But there's no home games anymore, man. It's not the same. But yeah, it's at the Tottenham Stadium.
At Tottenham Stadium. Okay.
City are not scoring. I just think Spurs will create too many chances against them. They're still evolving what they're trying to do at City. I think Jose will get one over them there. There's too much firepower.
So firepower, okay. Prediction for the big game. That's a really big game we're predicting. Then wrap up the show.
3-1 City.
I think City is going to be Spurs too. I mean, I think a lot of people are writing off City and their peril.
Quite convincing.
I think City will be Spurs. I don't know if it's convincing, but I think City is going to be Spurs. The fact that everybody.
I think it'll be a draw because I don't think Jose is going to go head to toe with Pep. He won't do it. Jose will not be able to allow his team to attack City. He will not do it. So, and I think there's enough in the City team to kind of hold them.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a draw, but I think it's going to be one of those crazy end-to-end games just because of the fact that Spurs have so much firepower.
Yeah.
City will do what City do. They'll control the ball. They'll dominate possession and with the players they have. But I think City are having a problem scoring goals right now.
Yeah, they're struggling. That's true.
Killing people off. They're doing what they do, but they're getting one goal a game, and that doesn't sound like a City side. So I think it'll be a draw.
Okay.
They're depending on Sterling a lot. I think Jesus just came back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe he's out. I think
he just came back. He just came back. He's back. He scored in the last game for them. He scored.
Yeah. But I trust Jose in the big games. Once in a while, he'll get, a banana peel. He'll get a battle. But that's where he really wants to win. He really wants to use his counterattacking strategy. And I think it'll work because the momentum of the teams counts. Then the tactics also. I think Jose will get him.
Good.
Let's see.
Banana peel, right? I mean, I don't disagree with you. It looks like it. I just think Pep is going to win this because every Pep Jose battle, more often than not, Jose overthinks it. I mean, I know he got him last time, but most times when he plays, he overthinks it. Jose will not. He will try to change something that Spurs, like he said, you go away from what you guys were doing. He's going to try to do something extra, like, I have to do this, and that's what's going to be his banana peel. I think in this one, and because number two, I think Man City they are desperate now. They have to kick off their season. So because of that desperation, I think it's going to be a 2-1 type. I think you guys will score. I think 2-1 in City's favor. We've come to the end of the pod. Thank you guys for coming. This was fun. The two Stevens, okay? The social stand. I hope it doesn't disappoint you and break your heart. I've moved on from him already, but hey, if you are still holding on to him.
Guys. Good job.
Thank you guys.